Hey guys, it's Krishanti with Krishanti.com, and I learned how to be psychic. I do readings and healings, and I train people to be psychic and intuitive too. And something that's been on my radar a lot recently is the whole notion of fate, free will, and manifesting. And some people have piped up and said that they're interested in all of this too. So that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about today, specifically about whether or not you really can manifest anything you want to have in this lifetime. Is that really true? Do we have as much free will as we like to think we do? And to me, this is such a fascinating and interesting topic. It's something I've struggled with too, because I'm the type of person that would love to believe that we have complete free will, that we're masters of our own universes, that we're all little tiny gods creating whatever we want to create in this lifetime. And a lot of the people that teach manifesting say that. It's all about you can have any relationship you want to have. You can have all the money in the world. You can be anything, anyone you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. The world is your oyster, and just create whatever you want, and you're here to be happy. The main reason why you're here is to be happy. And I've got to call bullshit on a little bit of that. Not to be crass or anything like that, but seriously, I don't think that's true. And what I've seen in thousands and thousands of sessions with people is that, first of all, life ain't easy. It is not a walk in the park for the majority of people. And a lot of people do struggle with manifesting and struggle with being happy. And so from the spiritual perspective, is life about having a great life, having all the material things, the great relationships, everything being perfect? No. Your soul came here to go through stuff, to get through it, and to evolve and raise its vibration, raise your vibration, and to grow. And so basically, I'm trying to think about how to tie in the whole fate thing. There are certain things that are meant to happen, that are going to happen in your life, whether we like it or not. And I used to talk about this where and I still believe it's true, of course, what you're born into is the perfect example of fate. I used to think, though, that was the only thing. You're born under these stars, you're born to this family, you're born in this certain geographic location, and there's your fate, right there. But as you go through life, certain things are set up, almost like you could think of them as tests or trials, but it's as if there are certain things that are going to happen, and you can't, once you're here with your free will, you can't necessarily change that and bend that or make it different. Now, I love experimenting with this stuff, and I do with myself. I work with clients on this all the time, and it's almost to the point where you can avoid a certain situation with a certain person or circumstance, and yet, because of fate, still go through the same thing, only with a different person and a different circumstance, but the core essence of that energy of what you're going through remains. Isn't that fascinating? And so we are not in control as much as we like to think. And if you think about it, a lot of what they say, or what some people say with manifesting, is you can't really control it all, but you can, try to navigate it. But I'm someone that likes to think I'm in control, and I'm sure you are too. Who wants to think that we have no control over anything? That's kind of depressing. So the point where the control comes in is how we get through those situations. And I was talking about this with a student of mine who is an incredibly powerful and gifted light worker. I'd love to give you her information when she's ready to work with new people and animals. But she was saying, yes, it does seem that when your soul is there, like going through these Akashic records and creating life, like we create these circumstances that are going to happen. And then when we come here, it's the control we do have is how we deal with those situations and how we master them and how we get through it all. And of course, there are several core things that help us, which are, of course, forgiveness, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, trying to stay in the light and not succumbing to the darkness and the depression and all the and even patterns of thought that continue to propagate that sort of thing. And of course, love is a big thing too, huge, having unconditional love, giving love, receiving love, doing good for other people, trying to raise the vibration here. In the Kabbalah, they call it raising sparks of the divine. We're all here to just, raise sparks, which is so beautiful if you think about it. But I suppose in all of this work with fate and destiny, and there's a lot of this in the fairy tales and myths and legends too, we can't be afraid of what our fate is. And we can't live in this fear that like, oh no, like this is destiny. If you adopt sort of an amused feeling about it, like, oh, that's interesting that this is likely to happen. Or if you're in the middle of something and you're like, oh my God, maybe it's my destiny to be struggling like this. That's a really beautiful and interesting turning point. I work with a lot of women who are dealing with issues with relationships and stuff. And of course, one common thing that comes up is, and I've heard this question so many times, is, am I destined to be alone for the rest of my life? And when you're at that point, you're like, oh my God, am I destined for this? That's an opportunity for you to stop and look at the patterns that have been occurring and shifting, and then immediately, really, when it comes to relationships with other people, start to work on yourself and work on your beliefs and all of that, so that you can not continue to manifest relationships that aren't working for you, and B, so that you can, if you're craving partnership, you can evolve into attracting and being in the kind of partnership you want to be in. Now, I'm pausing and slowing down a little bit because I'm thinking, I can't tell you, I can't make a blanket statement like this is your destiny, etc. Like that, you sort of have to look at yourself and your through your own. If you worked with me one-on-one, we could work on that. But I'm thinking if you're worried about that, especially, I'm speaking to the women that are like, oh my gosh, am I going to be alone and everything? What you can do is, there are a lot of maps that can help you figure out your life path. Like just look at your astrological chart and see what that's about. You can get a session with someone like me or me. You can do a lot of just divination work to see like, what is this what it's like, or is there a way to like kind of circumnavigate this? Like, what is this all about, and get a handle on it. And same goes for, living in poverty or having trouble with money or having like the same kind of relationships happen. And what I have definitely noticed though is when you're awake spiritually and you're really working to transform your life and to heal and to grow, is you will evolve out of things that happen. Let's say, I talked about this in another video, I always had horrible bosses, like classic fairy tale wicked witch bosses. And I realized that, I was like, I really don't want this to keep happening. And I transformed and evolved out of it. And now that I've worked through that, hopefully I won't have that happen again. I haven't had it in a while. If it does happen again, I'll be better able to understand why this is happening and to work through it. If it doesn't happen again, I have a whole other set of things to focus on. Life will not stop giving you challenges. And the more centered and grounded and full of light that you are, the more easily you'll be able to navigate those challenges. But is it about, are you here just to be happy and to have a great life? Not necessarily. You're here to learn, and we're all here to learn and to experience what the masters that have been talking to me call the pain school. Earth is the pain school, and we're here to graduate from it and to get through it. So bottom line, yeah, there's fate, and yes, there is destiny, and there are different areas in which these things manifest. And if you are struggling in any area of your life and you're like tired of this struggle, that's a great place to direct your light and direct your energy into breaking up the tightness and the constriction and the aggravation, so that you can blast away that struggle and move through it, move through that roadblock and onto something else. And another point about manifesting and about what we think we want, sometimes we really think we want something and it may not be in our best interest to have it. And it may not actually be what we think it is. And I'll let you just think about that for a little bit. What I've noticed is it's fun to want something and then to make it happen, but it's also interesting to want something so bad and then to have it and then be like, oh, this wasn't that great. Or to want something and to notice that it's not happening and then to think about why it might not be the right timing, or why having that or going through that might cause you to not focus on something else that you need to focus on. And that again is where there's a greater plan in place, like a destiny or a fate sort of thing. And so if you think about it with more of an amusement and less of a like wanting and needing and a pain kind of thing, that too will help your energy lighten up and help you get through what you're going through. But I know I've talked a lot about this, but it is so interesting, don't you think? And I work so much with divination and with my own clairvoyance and tarot and I Ching and with what people are going through and what I am going through, that I can't help but think about this. And so that's that. And if you like this video, please hit like and subscribe and leave a comment if you've noticed anything interesting about manifesting and about your own fate and free will. Love to hear what you have to think. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm not used to talking for so long, but I've heard that now I have to make longer videos, etc. So I'm trying to do that. So thanks for bearing with me on all of this. And if there are things that you want me to talk about, by all means, let me know. Email me at ask@krishanti.com and I will work on it. And I think that's all for now. I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.